This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
911, what's the nature of your emergency?
Welcome back to the Tactical Living Podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Welton, joined by Sergeant Welton. And how are you?
I'm excellent.
For anybody listening to this who is not in the realm of first responders, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. For most first responders, when they see something like a lifted truck or tinted windows or a thin blue line decal, most civilians will see like a vehicle. But for a lot of first responders, they actually see quite a bit more. And I think that it's important to understand the breakdown of why your vehicle actually says more about you than you think. And it's a conversation that has been coming up for me a lot lately. And, well, first of all, with the whole Elon Trump thing, I think that was a sham. We thought that was a sham from the very beginning. But you and I have been in conversation about buying a Tesla truck, probably at the end of the year, before we have to file our taxes next year. And then that conversation spurred into a lot of your partners either owning one or wanting to own one. And I was like, man, that's really interesting to see how many first responders actually are into Tesla trucks. And then it got me thinking about, you made mention of the fact that Tesla offers a first responder discount as well. And I'm like, man, like this must be a thing. And it actually is like, it's a pretty common vehicle for a lot of first responders to either have or to endeavor to have, because it is quite expensive to own a Tesla truck. And so I think that it's just an interesting concept about how in the world of first responders, your vehicle can actually feel like an extension of your uniform.
It's funny too, because I think especially some of the factors looking into it, like I know for me personally, like the reason I want one is for the self-driving. And I would guess that other first responders want that same kind of dynamic too. And I mean, you have to look at the safety factors. It's one of the safest vehicles that's out there, but we drive day in, day out on a regular basis. And if you could alleviate some of your driving, why not? Yeah.
Another way that your vehicle might be saying more than you realize is I'm thinking of an officer who, his truck is the type of truck that is modified for safety. So it's basically what he's done is he's prepared it in a state of readiness all of the time, just like your unit might be. And so he has things like trauma kits, plate carriers, his weapons, of course, in his car. And so this might actually be reflective of that sort of hypervigilance when it comes to mindsets of always being on, also indicative of how your vehicle could be an extension of you as a first responder.
And when I was in supervisor school a month and a half, 2 months ago, there was a gentleman there who had his truck, cool truck, like I forget what he called the type of lifestyle or what it was that he used it for, but he had Starlink on it. He had like a camper on the rear. Like he had all this stuff. He didn't live out of his truck by any means, but he was one of those, it's ready to go no matter what. If he wanted to go off and on an adventure, like he has everything in his truck, but that represented him. That's who he was. But then you see others, like I know an officer who drives a little Mazda Miata, and he's just had that car for forever. And it's just because I think that car brings him back to his youth, and that's what he really enjoyed with it. And it's really funny to look at people's vehicles and how it aligns with them and what the stories are with each of them. Some people, it's just a car. Others, there's a story to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about how a lot of people say that like your dog is very reflective of you as the pet owner. I think my car definitely like reflects me and my personality, and it's so much so that I thought I didn't want that at one point, got a different one, and then bought the same one, just a newer model of it because I love it so much. And I'm going to push back a little bit, Clint, because you said like, oh, the only reason that I want the Tesla Cybertruck is because of the self-driving. But I think for you, your vehicle actually feels like a sort of safe zone, and it's where you decompress after your shift, and you love to drive leisurely. So I think that too, it's also a level of emotional escape. And I know for a lot of people, it could be this space of control when other areas of your life might feel uncertain. So I definitely think that your vehicle could be a safe zone.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. Like, I think you're creating your safe space, your zone of comfortableness when you're out driving to and from places, and it just gives you like. And when Ashley says I like to drive at leisure, I'm not in a hurry. Like, I like to have that time of just cruising along, listening to a book or talking on the phone to Ashley or to my mom or aunt, and just having conversation and just almost having that kind of decompression state as I'm coming home or going to work.
I've seen a lot of people too that use their vehicle modifications as a sort of signal of affiliation or even status. So it could be something like department decals, tinted windows, vehicle wraps, lifted suspension. A lot of that might reflect a level of pride that you have when it comes to what it is that you're driving.
It definitely, it's like, I know a lot of officers who like they have the tinted windows, and a lot of people do have tinted windows. It's illegal in California to have front tinted windows, but at the same time we have them. One, it's for privacy aspects. Two, especially out where we live, it's to decrease the amount of heat that gets inside your vehicle, to lower the temperature so it's not 180 degrees and it's only 120.
If I got pulled over for tinted windows, I would tell the dude like, I want to let you know that my windows identify as my back windows.
I know, right? That would be.
I only have 2 seats in my car. For those of you who are listening, I think it's important though to understand that if you're the type of person who feels like you're maybe too exposed, or like your vehicle is too plain without any kind of modifications, which can be very pricey. It's important to not tie our self-worth or our protection to a physical feature of the vehicle that we drive.
Yeah, being tied into almost that status is, this vehicle is my status marker, and it should never show that for you, because that you as an individual should set that status marker, not what you drive.
A question that I think you can ask too is like, is my vehicle setup helping or heightening my stress? And is all of this even necessary for me to be carrying? Because it might just be reinforcing your anxiety.
I can attest to that. My truck recently gone through some issues and had to, pay some costly repairs on it. And it's one of those dynamics, like, no one wants to have to go out and pay thousands and thousands of dollars to fix a vehicle that you don't necessarily care about. But it's, you still want to treat it as if it's our my only truck, and I need to treat it well, being able to make sure it's taken care of, and you don't want to incorporate stress when it's not, you don't have to if you don't need to.
I think too that we can all ask ourselves, what identity am I reinforcing every time that I drive? And is the vehicle helping me feel safe or seen or separated? And I know for me, I love my car so much, and I worked very hard for that car. I have no problem saying, like, I drive a BMW Z4. I know how expensive it is. I know how nice that it is. I worked my ass off for that car twice. And for me personally, when I drive that car, what I'm reinforcing every time that I am driving it is that I feel prideful. I feel very prideful of, and not in an egotistical way. And I know I worked my ass off for this, and I love to wash my car. I love to pamper my car, and it's my little baby. And when your truck was screwing up and you had to drive it, you also know that that's like my little baby. And so just being ultra careful when you are driving it. And so I think that we on the flip side might actually be distancing ourselves if we do let that ego come into play and have this sort of I'm better than you kind of aspect, which I never do. I hope I never come across that. I don't ever try to come across that way. It's not about anybody else in my world when I'm driving my car. Like that is my safe space. That's where I listen to my favorite music. I have my top down sometimes. Like I'm just enjoying my life, literally ignoring the rest of the world.
Yeah, having that safe space, that comfortable, kind of fun dynamic. It's a great decompression place too. Being able to have that vehicle that you love to drive, that you are enjoying, and because we spend so much time behind the wheel going to and from places, it's important that you enjoy the space that you're in.
Yeah, and I think another question is, would I be driving this vehicle in this fashion with whatever I might have added to it if nobody else ever saw it? I just made mention of the fact that this is my space to be able to escape the rest of the world, and I'm literally ignoring everybody else. And so I wouldn't give two shits I don't give two shits what anybody else thinks about my car or me in it, or like all of the things, right? I've had enough officers pull me over just to kind of check out what's going on the inside of my fucking car. So I think that's an important question is, would you still feel the same way if nobody else knew what you were driving? I know for you, Clint, like you also wouldn't care that anybody else is seeing you driving your Tesla or the truck that you're driving now.
No, absolutely not. And because we don't hold that stake into our vehicles, and the vehicles for us to be comfortable in and to have that own kind of special space, and who cares what everybody else thinks.
Yeah. I hope you've gotten some value out of today's episode. If you have, do us a favor, drop a review, subscribe down below. And as always, know that I'm sending you a long, tight hug from my home to yours.